Yo, 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 what's going on, good people? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby. Representing Team Kings of Games all day, every day. And today I'm coming at you guys with an update from my babies, my children, PRANKIDS, man. One of the coolest and funnest decks that Konami has ever released. Very fair, balanced. It's a great deck. It's really fun. I definitely recommend picking it up if you don't have it. It's pretty cheap, budget friendly, and it has really good potential. As far as this current format goes and pertaining to the previous format, I really think that it has just really good potential. Currently, right now, as things stand before the meta, shifts and before we get a ban list, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But right now, this deck is great. I really think that PRANKIDS can get even better in the future. We don't necessarily need new support, but there are certain decks that might fall out of favor, which would, I think, particularly elevate the ceiling of PRANKIDS because of how they play. Their playstyle is, I like it. It's really interesting because I haven't seen a lot of decks that Konami's made that kind of are similar to this deck. There are certain playstyles that kind of correlate with this, but I really think that this deck is one of a kind. It really, what it does, there's not very many decks that can actually do similar things, but there's no deck that can actually just do what this deck does. It's really fun, you guys. It's awesome. It's competitive. And there's a lot of different ways you could play it. Like the variants that I've tested so far are Invoked PRANKIDS, Thunder Dragon PRANKIDS, Invoked Thunder Dragon PRANKIDS, all 3 in 1, and then Pure. But I think that Pure is the most consistent. You'll get the best results out of it. Yeah, you guys, I was tweaking with this build for a while. The month of January at my locals, Lions Den, shout out to Lions Den, the entire month of January, we were undefeated with PRANKIDS every single time we went up to that locals. This is before all the Thunder Dragon players kind of just like stopped playing Thunders, and they basically transitioned to playing Sky Strikers and Salamangreats and Dracos. So there was like a lot of Thunder Dragons at that time. But yeah, this is a great deck. I'm going to go ahead and hop into the list without further ado. So we're going to start off with the monster lineup. So we're starting off with 3 copies of Roxy's, 3 copies of Lampsies, 3 copies of Dropsies, and 3 copies of Fansies. Now, one thing I will say about my babies is I said this in my other profiles, but I'll say this again. I believe personally, even though it might not be true, that the PRANKIDS are resembling a particular, I would say, emotion. So for me, Fansies, well, not necessarily an emotion, but they are portraying something, I would say. Fansies, to me, symbolizes freedom. He's young, wild, and free, bro. I mean, look, he's dabbing on you. He's dabbing on you, bro. And, of course, you can't forget they got the gangster pajamas on. All of them are wearing the gangster pajamas. Fansies, one of them has like literally a vortex for legs. Like, they're just so awesome, bro. They really are. Really cool that you could play under Droll and under Colossus with Fansies, because the cards you wanted to search, you could just send it from your deck to your grave off him and add it through your link monsters, which is just a really great way to play under certain restrictions. So I'd say Fansies is more flexible than the other PRANKIDS because he can allow you to toolbox your resources that you need playing under particular scenarios. Dropsies is a gay crybaby. We've been through this a lot. Like I told him I accept him. I told him, I love you. You're my son. I'm never gonna judge you. I just wish that you would have told me, because what happened was, heard it through the grapevine, Roxy's had told me that this Dropsies right here, the one that's not crying, the one that kind of has that weird smirk, he's the one that's gay, because we found some men's magazines behind his toilet, and he was hidden. When he hit them, he tried to blame his other brother, but the thing was, I knew that it wasn't his other brothers, because I'm closer to them than I am to him. He kind of just, he does his own thing. He's a little bit more, I would say, antisocial than the rest of my children. But nonetheless, I still love Dropsies. He's still my baby. But yeah, Dropsies is amazing. I mean, this deck is really good in time. I would say that. Like, everybody knows that this deck is good in time, but I'm just going to reiterate the fact that this deck is incredible in time. It really is. I mean, like, this is one of those decks that just, they're going to catch you off guard. There's not very many cards that people are side decking that can counter it. It's just a great deck. Yeah, Dropsies enables also totally awesome plays. It really, like, they're amazing. They really are. And then we have 3 Lampsies. So technically speaking, they're all the same age. They're all triplets. My baby mama gave birth to all 12 of my children at the same day, but Lampsies came out first. So he's about 5 minutes older than Dropsies, and he's about 10 minutes older than Fansies. And then it took a half an hour for Roxy's to come out, because Roxy's, my wife was trying to give birth to Roxy's, and then the first one came out, wrecked her. I can't get no more. I can't get none of that good stuff. I'm not getting no more boom boom from that. He wrecked her, and then she had to have a C-section for the other 2. Lampsies symbolizes aggression, okay? So that's what I think. I believe that Lampsies symbolizes aggression. I mean, honestly, bro, he's going Super Saiyan. If you look at him on the artwork, this man is going Super Saiyan. Lampsies has all the respect of the other 9 of my children. They fear him, they respect him, and he's kind of my enforcer because, like, sometimes they don't listen to me, and they're just bad, but they do listen to each other, and that's something I understand. They have that relationship. They respect each other, and they do what each other say, and particularly Lampsies' word, they hold more value with his word over mine. It's kind of weird, but it's like that. And then Roxy's has a big butt and a rock afro. I don't know why they did that. That's really weird. But he is just, it's fun. Like, Roxy's to me symbolizes fun. Yeah, it's just, that's what he symbolizes to me. Big butt and a rock afro, though, I don't know about that. So that's it for the prank kids. You know, that's just my fun way of explaining them. I love this deck, man. It really is awesome. And these are my kids, man. They're bad, but they're mine. Next up, we're playing 3 Planet Pathfinder. I got a lot of weird questions about this card. Been playing it ever since I played Pure Prank Kids. It's essentially, it's a multi-purpose utility card that enables me to fix my hands. Like, when you play in Prank Kids, you'll have this weird... So, like, anybody that plays Prank Kids has had this experience where you have this weird hand where you're like, I have everything but Poly. Or I have Poly in one Prank Kid, and I don't have another way to get another Prank Kid. So, like, it kind of is the missing link, I would say, to your incomplete hands, because what it does is it adds a field spell from deck to hand, and the imperative thing about that is that you have Fusion, Recycling, Plant, and Place. So what it essentially does is it searches out either a Place, which gets you another Prank Kid, or it searches out Plant, which gets you a Poly. So it's whatever missing combo piece you need it to be. All you need for this deck to go off, essentially, is just to get away to either Fusion 2 Prank Kids, link someone with 2 Prank Kids. Essentially, getting 2 Prank Kids on the field is the win condition of the deck. That's how you could go out. Like, the best combo in this deck really is just Reasoning plus normal summoning any Prank Kids. Like, Reasoning and a normal summon is, like, the best combo. It really is. It gets the best results. But yeah, 3 Planet Pathfinder, it is insane. It's the best Ash Blade. It's the best Ash bait. Nobody really knows what I'm playing, especially when I just dropped this turn 1. Like, this happened at Fort Worth Regionals, where I didn't really resolve this card a lot. Like, I felt comfortable committing to my normal summon because there were only a few times when, like, it mattered where this was going to make or break my hand, but I had called by all those interactions. This card is just, it screams Ash Blossom. It kind of throws people off, too, because, like, this card's pretty old school, and it doesn't really see play in any decks at all whatsoever that I'm aware of. I mean, I could be wrong. I understand somebody's going to drop a comment saying, hey, I played in this, but, like, I'm just saying that I'm aware of. I don't know any decks that really play it, so it kind of just has that surprise factor as well. 2 copies of King of Swamp, so King of the Swamp essentially is just like Planet Pathfinder in a sense. It kind of just is the missing link. I just need more access to Poly, because as far as getting access to my kids, I really don't have a problem with that. It's pretty good at doing what it does. The deck, as far as the mathematical aspect goes of the deck, I feel that I've critiqued the ratios perfectly, and I really don't have the issues with bricking. You just have the issues where you draw too much of one half of the deck that you need. Because, like, you'll either draw too much Polys or too much Prank Kids, but you kind of want that equilibrium. You need that medium. So you definitely want to play 2 King of the Swamp over Invocation. Not that Invocation's a bad card. I prefer having access to my combo pieces quicker, and also at the same time having the versatility, you know, the multi-purpose that he provides, just like Planet Pathfinder, because he also can be used to make Battle Butler, which actually is really clutch and relevant, and it comes up. So that's it for the monsters. My 12 children, and the King of the Swamps, and the Planet Pathfinder. Now, for the spell cards, so starting off with our house. Now, this is a lie. Konami printed out Prank Kids Place to look like it looks neat, it looks clean, it looks really nice, right? This is not the truth. If you really saw what Place looks like, it's not even a house anymore. I got Weather Washer. She was smart. She got double coverage insurance on our house, and I knew we would need it because virtually every single day, my house gets blown up at least 3 times. And it normally happens when they do this. Rocket Ride, I had to keep them chained down in our attic. And for some reason, they find a way to pick the lock, and they take Rocket Ride. And you see how he's breaking through the roof? Yeah, they do that every day. They use Rocket Ride and break out of the house, and they destroy the roof. And the house just kind of just falls apart after that because of the Fansies. Like, Fansies can't control himself sometimes, and he causes hurricanes to happen. Just, it's not his fault. I don't blame him. But yeah, 3 place anyways. I'm sorry, you guys. Take my bad jokes for what they are. But 3 place, it just searches out your Prank Kids, and it also, the most relevant part about this card, which I guess is one of the beneficial accrutements of the deck, which is really good, is the chain blocking ability. That you can make sure that your best plays don't get Ash Blossom, that certain cards don't get Ghost Ogre, just certain scenarios where it really does matter, where you kind of just like need for both your Prankids to resolve, and you fusion summon for Rocket Ride, you just put them as Chain Links 1 and 2, and then this as 3. And even if it leaves the field, it boosts the attack of all your monsters by 5, and also can reduce the attack of all your opponent's monsters by 5. It's a really great field spell. I like it a lot. It's incredible. Some really good strengths about this deck is it has incredible grind game synergy. This deck can just really out-resource some of the best decks. It can grind for hours on top of hours. It really can. It's really hard to burn out of the engine because of all the recursion, and it kind of recycles the cards that are used to recycle. So you kind of just have this interchangeable thing where you're recycling your recyclers to recycle more cards, and you just never run out of engine pieces. It has great draw power. It has incredible recovery, as I've already mentioned. It's good searchability. It provides spot removal. It provides board wipes. It has the ability to attack directly. It stops floaters like Ray. It just is a really good, versatile deck with a huge arsenal in its at its disposal. We have one copy of Fusion Recycling Plant. It makes my Optimus Primes just a little bit more flexible because I really don't like drawing Terraforming in place and essentially having a dead card in hand, because it can be used next turn, but you really want every card in your first turn opening hand to be live to allow you and to assist you in doing what you want to do. Because typically, especially in this format, I'm making Abyss Dweller every single turn 1. Like, I just blind Dweller every time. Like, I know originally when Prankids came out, a lot of people weren't even playing rank 4s, or they just played totally awesome. But just keep in mind, even if you didn't, or if you did know, but if you didn't know, keep in mind that every time you have the polymerization combo, you can make any rank 4, rank 3, or rank 2 of your choosing. So it's really important to make sure that every card in your hand is playable, because if you happen to get hand trapped, you still need to be able to make Abyss Dweller, for me personally, or Totally Awesome, and have the follow-up that Pandemonium gives you on your opponent's turn. So just having access to this just gives you, it turns Terraforming into that much more of a multi-purpose and flexible combo piece. I just really like the theme of multi-purpose cards in this deck, just that it's not going to do just one thing. It's going to assist you in multiple scenarios. Even if it's the most niche interaction that you can think of, it just really helps you in the bind. We have a 1 set rotation. Because we play 2 different field spells, it just acts as more combo pieces that you can get access to. Plays around evenly matched, and it can help you to counter, you know, Trickstar Light Stage, you know, field spell decks. And then we have 3 instant ramen. Now, this is probably the best Wombo 1-card combo in mid to late game. Resolving an instant fusion in mid to late game when you have the valid targets engraved for Rocket Ride can just instantly bust out Borreload and Boral Sword and, you know, any rank 4 and any rank 2. You just can do so much with this card after turn 1. But during turn 1, there is the scenario where you need instant fusion as the additional extender because, for example, you didn't have Poly. So, like, let's say you didn't have Poly and you had to use Prankids Pranks and a normal summon, and you do your Rocket Ride play, you know, you do all that. I'm sorry, not Rocket Ride, you do your do play. You kind of need that instant fusion so that you can use Rocket Ride on your turn. So that way the Pandemonium that you used, that you searched, you don't have to use it and then force your to get Pandemonium back. That way you keep the Pandemonium in your hand, you don't have to play it that turn, and then can get back 2 Prankid monsters, which is better than just getting 1 in Pandemonium. Am I making sense here? So yeah, 3 instant ramen. It's just one of the best cards in the deck. And paying life points doesn't matter because you gain a lot more than you pay. And then 3 polymerization. Focal card, it's very pivotal just for this strategy in general. I really like starting with Poly more than Pandemonium. A lot of times people really don't pay attention to the very last text, the very last sentence in the text of Pandemonium. It restricts you to only Prankids for the rest of that turn, so it kind of sucks. But Poly is the best way to start the combo because you can make virtually any board you want with Poly. But we're still playing 3 copies of Pandemonium. The only way that this deck can go off is if you can either Link Summon or Fusion Summon. If you can do neither, you can't actually play. So you just really need to maximize on all your starter cards because your starter cards become extenders and follow-ups due to the fact that there's this chain and command that you have with going through Doodle and then Rocket Ride and then getting to Bow Wow Bark and then Weather Washer. So you kind of do Rocket Ride and Doodle on your turn and then Bow Wow and Weather Washer on your opponent's turn. And you just generate so much advantage just by resolving a Poly or Pandemonium. And then next up, we play 3 copies of Pranks. I really like Pranks. It's a great starter card. It's a great extender. It's a great recovery card. Just very well-rounded, incredible card. You really want to set up The first time you resolve Fansies, you want to set up by sending Pranks. So that way you can establish your Pranks turn 1 during your end phase. You get that extra draw, especially when you're in games 2 and 3, when you have your side deck cards in your main deck and you really need to see them. You have the chance to draw it off of Roxy's effect, then you get a second chance to draw another one off of Prank's effect. So through your main basic combos, you are able to basically draw 2 cards every turn, just allowing you to dig deeper into your deck for specific cards that you need to see, while at the same time generating so much advantage and applying that pressure that you need just off of resolving Poly. You're going to get 2 cards off of Doodle, you're going to get the Recursion off Rocket, you're going to get 2 additional cards off of Bow Wow Bark on your opponent's turn. So you get 4 cards, you net 4 cards off of resolving Poly, and you get 2 draws. So you've got to see 6 extra cards to your hand. It's really incredible. Pranks also allows you to play through the Ash Blossoms, the Ogres, you know, stuff like that. It just kind of, again, it acts as that really good extender that you need. And then 1 copy of Reasoning. All my children have different levels. The best level to call is going to be either 4 or 3 because you play Planet Pathfinder and King of the Swamp. But if they call anything that's not 4 or 3, there's a very low chance of them actually calling it right. But normally, nobody really calls it right. And then next up, the only spell that's not a combo piece, literally, is Called by the Grave. So I wanted to maximize on the consistency of the deck by taking out all my hand traps, and everything that was not a combo piece had to be either Called by the Grave or Plan. So these are the 5 bricks in my deck. These are the only cards that I would draw in my opening hand, and they won't do anything unless my hand was already playable. So I felt really comfortable with playing these cards over any other cards because this is just integral for the archetype. This is integral for your strategy and your game plan. You kind of just need Plan. Especially game 1 when you don't have knowledge of what you're playing. Your best bet is to send Plan off Fansies, so that way you're able to make either Battling Butler or Rip Roaring Rooster, either or on your opponent's turn, so that if you happen to be playing Strikers or playing Soundman Greats or other decks that rely on back row, you can blow them out with Rip Roaring Rooster. If you're playing a combo deck, you can blow them out with Battling Butler. But setting yourself up to do both is really important for me, because if I don't know what I'm playing and I set myself up for Battling Butler and I happen to be playing Strikers, there's not very much a Raigeki is going to do against him, especially because Ray's just going to come back. So it's really important to do so. So I really do like playing 2, and the recovery that this card provides just keeps you in the game. A lot of people don't play around it, and when you start getting into mid and the late game, you have so much going on that your opponent oftentimes just forgets that it's been in the grave for a long time. And you always send this off the second time you resolve Fansies, which is going to be on your opponent's turn. Only times you're going to be sending this turn 1 is if it's game 1, you don't know what you're playing. And also, after that, you're just going to be sending Pranks every other time for your turn 1, and then you're going to be sending this again on your opponent's turn. And then Call by Grave just ensures that your fragile hands that one hand trap can stop are going to be able to be played. So really, oftentimes, like when you open good, Ash Blossom holds little to no value, and cards like Effect Veiler don't really work too well because they can Veiler Doodle, and then you can still just make another Doodle and tribute him and grab 2 cards. So oftentimes hand traps are really -1s because you can play through the hand trap and still get more cards to your hand. So you are up in resources while your opponent's down in resource, and their hand trap didn't actually stop you from playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is really effective. I like this deck a lot. Let's go to extra decks. So we have 2 Rocket Ride and 2 Weather Washer. So Rocket Ride can attack directly. Weather Washer stops Rays from Grave and Floaters. It just doesn't let anything happen when your Prankids attack and damage step. Weather Washer is the best babysitter a man can ask for. She's slowly but surely becoming kind of like their replacement stepmom. I don't like her like that. I mean, she ain't cute or nothing like that. And really, I'd be concerned whether or not Weather Washer is a guy that just pretends to be a girl. I don't know. We're just going to put a pin in that. But they both tag out to summon 2 Prankid monsters that are not fusion type from your graveyard. This is during your turn. This is during your opponent's turn. But these are the pivotal plays. You want to start your combo with this, finish it up on your opponent's turn with this. And then we play 1 Battling Butler. Battling Butler, he's a really good cook. He's not a good, he's not really good at cleaning up the house. The house stays dirty, but it's not his fault. I don't blame him. But he is a good cook. He's a good cook, a great cook, in fact. And against combo decks, it's really amazing just being able to have access to a Raigeki anytime you need, while simultaneously chain blocking and building your board to establish a Boral Sword play next turn. So whenever you make this on your opponent's turn, you literally have set yourself up to not only board wipe them, but have the follow-up play in the form of an OTK with a Boral Sword. So it's really good. For links, we're playing 3 Doodle Doodle Doo. Really important to max out on these. Doodle Doodle Doo essentially is the best starter, as far as the extra deck goes, it's the best starter play that you can make, because it searches out your entire deck. Place searches your Prankids, and it searches all your spells and traps. So it can search Place, which could search your children, or it could just search your Pandemonium or your Pranks or your Plan. It searches your entire deck, and it gets your resources back. It enables the chain blocking to happen, because whenever you make this with your Prankids, without the field spell, you can put your Prankids as the lowest chain link, so that the only thing that can be hindered is this card. It's a really great card. And I don't know why it's such a big bird, but we can't fit it in any cage because it's literally my size. And then we have one Bow Wow Bark. I've considered playing more, but it just kind of doesn't come up enough. Essentially, this is doodle doodle doo on your opponent's turn, adding 2, and it provides protection for all your Prankids to be unable to be destroyed by card effects. It's relevant in certain matchups. And then we have the Rip Roaring Rooster. Woo, baby. Okay, this card is great. Okay, this is really incredible. The fact that Heavy Storm's banned, and we can resolve Heavy Storm multiple times in the same duel. The same with Raigeki being at 1, but we can resolve it multiple times in the same duel because you can recycle these and make them again. So you have your 5 Prankid links, your 5 Prankid fusions. The other 5 cards in the extra deck are Boarsword and Boarload and Boarsword. Then we have Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is the best turn 1 play that I make blind when I don't know what I'm playing. You always make Dweller, essentially just with your Poly combo, because you can obviously special Roxy's from your deck, and then you could bring another Roxy's back from your grave off of Rocket Ride. I'll show you how you do it if you're really curious, if you think it's impossible. I play Giant Hand because I do not want to lose to Dinko Sekka, because the way this deck plays is very reactive and not proactive. It lets your opponent play. It just kind of responds to a lot of things that your opponent's doing. So the way Prankids really work is you make a lot of your best plays on your opponent's turn. Like your turn 1 plays are not going to be as powerful as your plays on your opponent's turn. So this deck gets what I call a main phase 3. Your main phase 3 is during your opponent's turn. You're going to play a lot more in your opponent's turn than you will on yours. But Dinko Sekka denies that. So when you have knowledge, games 2 and 3, that your opponent is smart and they're going to be playing Dinko Sekka, you make this turn 1 so that when they normal that Dinko Sekka, you can activate Giant Hand, knowing full well that they can't Veiler or Impermanence it because they have committed a card on board already. So you know it's safe to say that Giant Hand's going to negate Dinko. They've wasted their normal summon and you could still play. So it's a really smart play and it catches so many people off guard. Nobody expects it. And then one Totally Awesome to sum up the extra deck. Whenever you make Totally Awesome, I always bring out an extra Dropsies onto the field, because I don't ever want to tribute Toad for his Self for costs and then lose to a Call by the Grave. I will only tribute his Self for costs if it's the only other option that I have, but typically I like leaving a Dropsies on field and tributing that to keep him established so that I'm not auto-losing the Call by. It's just the smarter play to make. Then the side deck is 3 Lava Golems. This is supposed to be 3 Lancias. So basically, there's 9 other cards in my side deck because this is supposed to be 3 Lancias. I lent one to somebody in Houston, and I haven't got it back yet. And then we have 3 Dinko Sekkas. You don't really need your normal summon. Oftentimes, I just swap out my Planet Pathfinders for these because if you're playing Greats and Sky Strikers, it's really, really easy to OTK them. Just drop a Dinko. You don't have to worry about the back row. Hand traps don't really hurt that much, especially with all the chain blocking you can do. And the fact that a lot of times, when they hit even if they use their hand trap at the right moment, you can still keep playing through it and just kill them anyways. 3 reboots to stun the back row. Whenever you reboot your opponent, you resolve Rip Roaring Rooster and you blow their back row up. If you're ever unable to kill them for some odd reason, you just destroy all the back row so that it doesn't matter what trap you gave them. It's going to get destroyed. And then Evenly Matched is really good in this deck because this deck can not only afford to take a turn off, but even if you're going close to time, you don't need your battle phase to do damage to your opponent because you're playing Prankids. So I definitely recommend Evenly as a staple. It's still a great card. I don't know why a lot of people stop playing it. I understand the reasonings behind it, like sacrificing your battle phase for some decks is not good, but for this deck, it just thrives in whatever phase that it's in, as long as it's like you're able to make your plays with your quick plays and stuff like that. So that's it for the deck profile. Really hope that you guys enjoyed it. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content, and you guys definitely stay positive, all right? Peace out.